Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's talk about Nina for a little bit. So it turns out that she is going to be leaving Port Charles for a little bit to take a break. And to be honest, not to sound like a dick, but bye, bye. You could just not come back at all. I'm totally cool with that too. Um, she talks to Jocelyn for a little bit. She talks to, honestly, tell you the truth, like Jocelyn kind of stuck her foot in her mouth a little bit as far as, her trying to defend her dad, their relationship. Now, but she talks to Lizzo, and I'm gonna be honest, her thinking has not changed, and it's gotten to a point where in some ways, you ever just get tired of complaining about the same thing, day in and day out, about just little things? Well, that's how I'm feeling about Nina. Once again, she sits there and tries to rewrite history because for some odd reason, this is pretty much where she goes to, hold on 1 second. Like, once again, she sits there and talked about how, they let her die by herself. And, she's talking to Ulbrich. And, she said something along those lines. And Ulbrich was like, well, the thing is, it's not like, she was murdered. She was trying to run away from the cops and she literally fell off a cliff. Once again, Nina's like, well, she didn't have to sit there and die. She could have been saved. And I'm like, sweetheart, for the 1,000-something time, no one is responsible for saving your sociopath of a daughter. Okay? No one. And yes, this is after she does apologize to Ulbrich for the things that she said, as far as, when she was first convicted of these false charges, she did apologize, so there's that. But as far as Nell is concerned, she's always going to have her version of what happened. It was Carly's fault, yada, yada, yada. I may not be able to see Wiley because of Carly. It's just like, honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie. When she was there talking about how she was leaving, I was like, oh, thank goodness. You know what? Because, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like being negative, okay? I really don't. I don't like being negative when it comes towards these soap operas. When it comes towards talking about certain characters, I like to talk about them in a positive light. Yeah, we like to sit there and dig into certain characters that we don't like, but with her, it's not even so much that I just don't like her. I don't like her, but it's more than that. It's just the same nonsense that just spews out of her mouth. It's like she doesn't really fully learn, as far as, why she's not allowed to see Wiley for a little bit. She doesn't really understand that she keeps rewriting history about now and the terrible things that she's pulled on damn near everyone. And it gets exhausting because Brooklyn is back. At some point, if she didn't leave, she was going to have to sit there and talk to Brooklyn. And she was going to get into it with Brooklyn about, Brooklyn's, nail slashing her throat. And knowing Nina, she would sit there and try to downplay it. And that would just, not only just irritate me, but I'm pretty sure it would irritate just the Brooklyn fans, just fans of the show in general. So, yeah, she does talk to Ava, and she's like, I'm leaving, just taking a break a little bit, and Ava's like, I'll miss you, and I'm like, really? Because I'm pretty sure she did actually snatch your child when your child was born. She did literally do that. That was a thing. She also orchestrated that whole, she was going to get back at Ava by wrecking her daughter's relationship with Michael. But for you to sit there and say, I'll miss you, is like, either you are way more forgiving than me, or we're just kind of retconning stuff like it just didn't happen. One of the two. Either way, you're gone, so, bye, bitch. and we'll just leave it at that. Um, Disney, you know what? I'm gonna talk about that last. Let's talk about Cyrus and Peter, because I actually tell you the truth, I find this team up, and it is gonna be a team up. I find this team up really interesting, and I cannot wait to see how this whole thing is going to unfold. Pretty much, Nathan meets. I mean, not Nathan, but Peter was talking to Nathan's grave gravesite. Peter wound up meeting Cyrus at the grave, and Peter pulls a gun on Cyrus, and Cyrus is like, yeah, you might wanna, you got a little red dot on your So of course at this point, you know, Cyrus is pretty much like he has an offer for Peter as far as like working with him, getting Jason off of his back, being able to protect Peter from Jason. And listen, at this point, between that and all the secrets that's coming out, Cyrus is like, listen, I'll help you keep whatever secrets you got left, and keep keep you protected. Because I still got a whole Jason Morgan problem. So all you guys sit there and do is work with me. And at this point, I don't really see any other option. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling like I'm getting deja vu all over again, because the last person the last person decided to take Cyrus, offer. Well, didn't really work out for them so well. So but at the same time, I could not sit there and think of a better person that Cyrus could sit there and screw over more than Peter. So of course he shakes his hand, he takes his offer. I still don't understand what Cyrus is getting out of this, but Cyrus is like, listen, you'll come in handy later on. You serve me down the road. I'm sitting there thinking, bro. Listen, I like Peter as a bad guy because he does shake things up, and when he gets in full villain mode, it's just great. But I'm also sitting there thinking, might wanna watch it back. Just throw that out there. Because the last person, well, we all know what happened to him. What else we got? Now there is this small interaction between Curtis, TJ, and Jordan. Nothing much really happened except for the fact that Curtis told TJ about his nightclub and making positive changes and stuff like that, and then Jordan got a call and she left. And that was pretty much about it. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like this was probably the weakest part of this whole episode. Was that whole, I mean, I guess it was to catch people up on the fact that TJ got his domestic partner crap going. I'm not gonna lie, I find it so stupid. She don't want to be married, but she agrees to this somewhat marriage that's not really a marriage, but is her version of a marriage. So it's like, all right, whatever. I guess it's just catching people up on that and Curtis' new business venture, which he doesn't even have a name for, but this is gonna be his new thing. So cool. Um, Now Carly and Jason. Let's just Carly has, I don't want to sit there and say a meltdown, but she's just been storing up so much grief and so much anger and so much hurt inside of herself that Jason is just there to be the emotional punching bag. Go Jason. Because fewer people would not have accepted that role. I know that you do stuff for the people that you love, but man, I don't know if I could have been able to do that. I guess I would have to be in that circumstance to actually understand. But anyway, she pretty much unloads on Jason. She throws a coffee mug, and she's just so upset that Sonny's gone. And yeah, not gonna lie, and I know this sounds kind of dickish, but in the beginning, of her temper tantrum and her meltdown and her getting angry at Jason. And I'm not gonna lie, after a while I was like, really? I'm not gonna lie, after about 2 or 3 minutes of it, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of over this. But it was a scene that needed to happen, and to be honest, I guess the good thing that came out of it was that it was better for Carly to unleash on Jason than for her to do that on anyone else. You know, because Jason can take it. I don't know if her daughter or anyone else probably wouldn't have been able to, or heaven forbid she would have did that on a staff member. So, yeah. But with that being said, Jordan comes over. Jordan comes over to arrest Jason because apparently they have. Well, actually, tell you the truth, I don't know what do they actually have. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing that they have is Jason being there over, being over Franco's body, and Liz and they're saying that he did it. And you know what? Let's just talk about this for a minute. Yes, Jason is the most likely suspect. We all can agree on that. But let's just kind of I don't know, toy around with some ideas. You know, Jason wasn't there by himself. Now, I know that Liz would have no reason to sit there and kill Franco. Let's just be honest for a minute. Jason was the one that called the cops. You know, Liz was there also. Why are we just at this? Always, I guess at this point, it's just, when in doubt, let's just always sit there and blame Jason. But I'm just like, Liz could have did it too. I mean, at this point, yeah, they're gonna sit there and exhume the body and stuff like that. But, well, there's no gun residue on Jason. The bullets aren't gonna match Jason's gun. So what do they really have? I mean, they dragging him down there again, and I'm just like, what do you have? But I don't know. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie. Watching TV for a while, I feel like whenever they want to throw a character in jail, they're gonna find a way to do it. It doesn't even matter how. It doesn't even actually have to make sense. And I hate to kind of throw this reference in because I know no one is gonna probably understand. But if you have teenage kids or whatever that watch the show called The Flash, pretty much they decide to throw the Flash in jail for killing a guy who was in a wheelchair. Mind you, that the Flash lives at least 3 or 4 stories in an apartment. So there was no way, I don't even think there was an elevator. So there was no way that he was actually going to be going all the way up those steps to be killed by the Flash, but for some odd reason, because they just really need to throw him in jail. That's what they did. And seeing how, well, legal stuff doesn't really matter too much in soap operas, I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to throw Jason in jail while Peter just kind of hangs out sitting pretty because, we got to stretch out the story. So that's what they did. What else we got? At Liz's house, Liz is sitting there talking to Laura, and once again, she's on her whole I hate to sit there and say she's on her whole BS about, Jason killed Franco, but, at this point, I know that's the grief that's talking. And honestly, to tell you the truth, they're just, at this point, I'm not going to lie, I kind of just don't care. I was going to sit there and try to say something positive, but I know that for a lot of people, Liz had been working their last nerve, so I'm just like, whatever at this point. I don't care. I'm trying not to sound too negative about this. It's just, that's what Liz is doing at this point. And for some odd reason, this just makes sense to the writers, so whatever. On the positive side, it was cool seeing Jake again. I know we're not going to really see these kid actors, these child actors, and also seeing Aiden. But yeah, we're not going to probably see these child actors moving forward. On scenes that aren't really necessary because of the whole COVID thing. So I guess this was a necessary scene. So yeah. So that was cool. It was cool seeing Jake, cool seeing Aiden. And they went to the memorial. And what was really nice, something that Ava did, was that they had a gallery. And it wasn't his paintings. It was all the kids, every person, through his art therapy classes and stuff like that. They had like a collage of everyone's paintings up there. So I thought that was really nice. I thought that was really nice. It was really touching. It was almost actually sort of almost, I would sit there and say almost sort of a tearjerker kind of moment because he touched a lot of people's lives. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it really speaks a lot as far as like the volume of Ava, Because Ava has been known to do some really terrible things. But she's also a person that can do some really nice and kind, sweet things as well. As one of the things I really do like about Ava is that she just has a range. Her range could be from kind to the sweetest person on earth to straight up, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna torture you, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want because I'm mad and I'm angry. I mean, listen, in some ways, and I hate to sit there and bring this up, she treated her daughter like crap. Like, really badly. And she shot Connie in cold blood, and yeah, she had her reasons of doing it, but at the end of the day, she still did it. So she is a very interesting character. Trina was there to help because reasons, and I know, here's the thing. I know that she was there because, she works at the gallery and stuff like that, and she did talk to Jocelyn as far as making sure everything was cool for Cam, as far as like them being there for Cameron, but I'm gonna be honest, I felt like her presence there was just, I don't want to say it was pointless, but it was like as a reviewer, just talking about her, it's like just seemed like it was kind of almost a waste. But she was there, so that's cool. Also, Sam talked to Dante as far as what to do about Peter and his justice and stuff like that, and also about Alexis and how she thinks that Alexis pleading guilty, it's just not good. And to be fair, I do agree that it's not going to do her any good, but they talk about that, and then they talk about Peter, and how pretty much, well, nothing's going to come from it, Nothing's going to come from it, and so at this point, it's like, what are we going to do? Give vigilante justice? Which, by the way, Ulbrich is so not happy with the fact that Peter's not going to jail. When Laura comes in and is like, yo, is Peter in jail? And Laura's like, nope. Ulbrich is like, cool. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to handle this myself. And I remember her a couple of years ago saying something along those lines last time. Where she was like, to think about this country and stuff like that. It's like, I don't remember exactly what it was. But pretty much she's like, I'm just good with just street justice at this point. So she calls up Dante. And, she's pretty much just gonna get Dante to try to kill Peter at this point. When she talks to him at the gravesite, I don't remember exactly what she said, but pretty much she's like, I'm gonna get Dante to, kill Peter myself. Like I'm done with the legal system. It's just not gonna work out. And to be honest, I mean, I don't agree with how she's going about it because at the end of the day, it's like, you're using Dante to do it, and Dante does have a family. He does have kids. But I understand her frustration and her anger. And of course, Peter, Peter walks up. I'm not going to lie. Peter walks up to Sam. And he just has a black jacket. And the shot, it almost looked like it was Jason. So I was like, when Sam was like, just keep walking, I was like, well, why don't you talk to Jason? Oh, wait, that's Peter. Peter pretty much just came there just to rub it in Sam's face that he's not going to go to jail for killing Drew or any of those other crimes that was mentioned during the wedding. He was like, well, that's not going to happen, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. So pretty much nana and boo-boo. Literally, that's literally what he came over there to do. I'm like, yo, Peter might be kind of careful because Sam Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Sam for reasons that I can agree on, but Sam, I feel like if we push Sam the wrong way, she may just decide to take law into her own hands. So you might want to just kind of watch yourself, bro. Just throwing it out there. Also, before I wrap this up, well, it's two things before I wrap this up. Nicholas seems to agree that Jason, because Nicholas was talking to Laura, and Laura told Nicholas and Ava, and I don't know if somebody else was there, but because they were asking how's Liz doing, and Liz, she pretty much was like, Liz still thinks that Jason did it, and Nicholas was like, do you think that do you think that he did it? And Laura's like, I don't know. I'm like, Laura, seriously? You known Jason for a long time. How do you even sit there? I get that. I get that. Like, the evidence does not look good against Jason. Well, like, the motive doesn't look good against Jason, but you know Jason. So I don't even understand why she's even, like, questioning that. But Nicholas is like, well, if Liz think that, he did it, then that's good enough for me. Really? Like, just like that? Okay. Anyway, I think that's about it. I don't know if I actually covered everything. It's weird because this episode wasn't exactly the greatest, to be honest. And yeah, it just wasn't really the greatest. But I think I covered everything. But if I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. And one other thing that I gotta sit there and talk about, because I'm gonna be putting this in another video as well. So, if anyone watches Bold and the Beautiful reviews, of mine, well, I'm not going to be doing them anymore. Not going to be doing them anymore. So, moving forward, it's just going to be General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. Because apparently, I got a copyright strike from CBS. Yeah, I got a copyright strike from them. And I woke, this was like when I was going towards the bank, and I saw it and I was like, the hell is this? And usually I would somewhat semi freak out about this, but then I was like, you know what, listen, I'm not the first YouTuber that got a copyright strike. So at this point, I'm pretty much just kind of fighting it just to get it off. Like, I could just do nothing, and I could just wait for 3 months just to, and by the way, you can kind of just, if, like, the GH review is over, so if you don't want to watch this part, that's cool. But yeah, I could just sit there and just wait to the 3 months until it's done. But which is another option that I could have done. But I just decided to fight it because, well, they don't really have anything on me since I just talked about it. Like, I didn't show anything or anything like that. But with that being said, knowing that CBS is good for just like filing like false copyright strikes or whatever, like they did it towards their own panel. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Which is a real shame because I felt like once my channel really started to grow, I wasn't just gonna do Bold and the Beautiful, I was gonna do Young and the Restless. But with that being said, I'm like, you know what, CBS, I'm good. And then I looked, like, searched on, to find, like, anyone that does reviews on Young and the Restless. And, of course, it just came back Brock TV. And, but I also did it towards Bold and Beautiful, and pretty much it was just me, so I was like, alright, I'm good. I mean, I thought it was a fun soap opera to sit there and talk about. But it's not something that I actually have to sit... Like, if it's General Hospital, like, yo, I'm going to war over that. Like, but Bold and Beautiful, I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. And I also have my own little issues about Bold and Beautiful anyway that I'll be covering in my other video. But, yeah, so it's just moving forward. It's just going to be General and Days, which works out for me from a time constraint, you know. Anyway, with that being said, enough of me rambling. And if you made it this far, thank you for listening to me ramble. And yeah, be safe. I will catch you in the next video.